Hello. I do. Okay. Hello.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
Hey, it's Schneider. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm talking to, I guess, your producer right now. I'm waiting on
Oh,
them.
you are? Good. Okay, then I'll let you do that. Or basically, is they're going to call you on Skype or vice
They've called
versa?
me. I'm with them
Okay.
now.
Okay, do you want to stay on the line with me? Because I actually have to do the interview like over a speakerphone because
Um,
I'm not connected to this computer.
I
That doesn't make sense.
this doesn't make any sense. I'm talking to you on the phone, but they're recording video or something.
Yeah, because the way it works, CNN is based in Atlanta, in DC. So you're calling CNN Skype, they're going to roll on the interview for the video. I don't have that capability sitting at my desk right now. So I want to talk to you over the speakerphone, but everything we're saying will be recorded via Skype. I just don't have the capability to jump on it right now.
Sure. How do you spell your last name, by the way?
Yep.
Schneider.
Neider.
Okay. All right.
So do you want to stay on the line with me while you get everything set up with Skype?
Everything is set up as far as I know. I'm being recorded by CNN, so I'm looking at the camera now.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to text the producer just to make sure we're rolling, and then I will start. I
Okay.
appreciate your accommodating this. I
Yep,
know
I've
it's
got about 7 minutes for you. So,
okay. I'm checking if they're rolling. Stand by.
sure.
All right, I'm gonna check in with them. Hold on, let me call this. Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, they said that we can roll the interview now. They said we're
Oh,
good to
good.
go.
Okay, great. Let's go hop to it. Thank you very much. So, hey, listen, thank you so much for doing this. So, my first question is, what are you expecting for September 18th? What's the latest in terms of numbers, and who are you expecting? What have you heard in terms of response?
Well, we expect a good number of patriots to come and show up. We've had to give estimates to the Capitol Police. I think the last one we gave them was 700, but it could be many more than that. We're hoping to, but we have no way of knowing. We have a form where people can RSVP, but obviously that has been trolled by fake sign up, so we really don't have any idea of determining it. We do expect a healthy crowd. The first event we held in D.C., we had about 20 people outside the Department of Justice. The second event, we had, I'd say, about 150 outside the D.C. prison. And this third event, I think we should have, a larger crowd, thanks in part to a lot more publicity. And each time we do this, we've demonstrated we run a safe, responsible event, and that's going to continue.
And remind me again, the goal of this, it's all for the people who have been arrested after
There have been
January
hundreds
6th.
of people who've been politically persecuted, who've been pursued by the FBI and the Department of Justice for doing what in any other circumstances would at worst get somebody a $50 fine. We saw these same behaviors throughout the Trump administration, shutting down the Senate, shutting down the Capitol during Kavanaugh's protests. These people were not persecuted, they were not hunted down, they did not have their faces on billboards. And were pursued by the FBI. They were slapped with, at best, a $35 or $50 fine and released that day. These people are being hunted down in their homes, having guns pointed at them, being hauled off to D.C. And these are people. I'm not just saying that they didn't commit violence, but they're not charged with violence. They're charged with trespassing and parading, and they're being held in solitary confinement without access to bail, without access to medical care for over 9 months. And the thing is that most people agree with us. Do you think that somebody who is not convicted, who has not been accused of violence, should be held in solitary confinement without access to bail not convicted of anything, without access to medical care for 9 months. Now, we have a lot of allies in this, and one of them is, in fact, Elizabeth Warren, who herself has said that this is cruel and unusual treatment, especially for somebody not convicted. She said that herself. This isn't even a partisan movement. This protest is not about the election, about the results, about questions about the legitimacy of the election, who won, who lost. This is solely focused on the political prisoners and their persecution and getting justice for Ashley Babbitt. Because look, if you think that a police department can shoot an unarmed individual and that they should not come under any scrutiny at all, they should be able to do an internal investigation, clear themselves of it, and not face any scrutiny. If you have a problem with that, you're on our side. And under no other circumstances would the American left enthusiastically support a police department clearing themselves of shooting an unarmed citizen. We're calling for a public congressional investigation into the shooting of Ashley Babbitt. We're calling for charges to be dropped against all non-violent offenders who in many cases were walking through Capitol doors into a public building held open by Capitol police officers. The Department of Justice has admitted as such. This is a peaceful protest for people's civil rights that have been denied.
What response have you been getting from people who are saying, hey, I'm going to be there? I mean, are they equally as outraged about this?
A lot of people are outraged about this, and a lot of people haven't heard about this. But when they've heard about it, they understand that this is not a partisan issue. This is a human rights issue. And this is something that bridges the gaps against people of different ideologies. No human should be treated this way. Nobody should be held without without bail. Nobody should be held without the opportunity for bail in solitary confinement for 9 months, who is not even accused of committing anything violent, but simply trespassing or parading, and should be denied access to medical care, denied full access to their own attorneys, denied access to their families, and in solitary confinement. That's simply inhumane. And we're not alone in this. This is a bipartisan effort. We've even had Dick Durbin raise the issue of the inhumane treatment of these prisoners. Elizabeth Warren has raised issues with the inhumane treatment of these political prisoners. And I want to emphasize, this rally is not about the election. It's not about who won or who lost or any irregularities. This is solely about the abusive treatment that these patriots have received and how unjust it is and how we are going to stand up for them.
Got it. You mentioned peaceful protest. There's a lot of talk, we're actually got a memo from Capitol Police saying that, a Proud Boy leader has encouraged people to attend, counter protests are being planned.
I think that's incorrect. That you're incorrect.
Okay.
My understanding is that a fringe group like that you mentioned told their people not to come. That's what has happened. That is incorrect.
Okay, and any talk about an uptick in violent rhetoric surrounding the event, what do you say to that?
There's been a lot of violent rhetoric surrounding the event of leftists attacking us. We've received threats of violence. We've received death threats. I've received those personally. But there is no violence on our side. This is a completely peaceful protest. And we have told people that when they come, we don't want to see any messaging about the election. We don't want to see any messaging on t-shirts or flags or signs about candidates or anything like that. And anybody that shows up who we think is trying to infiltrate us, either because they're a federal agent or they're Antifa and trying to make us look bad, we're going to take their picture, we're going to find out who they are, and we're going to make them famous. And we are cooperating every day with the Capitol Police, with the Park Police, with the Metropolitan Police. They know everything we're doing. They know all the speakers we're going to bring. They know they know everything. We've been working with them, and I have to say they've been very cooperative with us to help us hold a successful exercise of our First Amendment rights at the U.S. Capitol.
Any notable names that you're expecting to speak?
Yes, but I'm not going to share them until next week, and you'll just have to find those on our Twitter feed with everyone else.
Okay. We've heard that 9 members of Congress have been invited to attend. We're hearing that all of them but 3 declined, and then the 3 Congress people, Gates, Green, and Cawthorn, they haven't said yet whether they'll attend or not. Have you heard that any members of Congress will be there?
We do not share our conversations with anybody until we're ready to announce it. So I'm not going to confirm or deny anything. We keep our own counsel on that.
Got it. And you mentioned you've been in touch with Capitol Police. Have you guys gotten a permit at this point?
So I keep getting asked this question by reporters over and over again. There is not a permit that we get from the Capitol Police. Their procedure is that they don't.
What about Park Police?
The Metropolitan Police, that's all been done. We got permits from all that stuff previously.
Okay.
But the process is that the day of the protest, the day of the rally, Capitol Police inspect everything, and only then do they say, okay, you guys can go ahead. And we've met all the deadlines. We've gone through the preliminary round. We're now with the planning board. So, and since September 6th, there have been other protests and rallies at the Capitol. This is nothing out of form for them. It's just that people are making this into a much more controversial event than it is, because reporters want clicks and eyeballs, and leftists kind of hate the fact that the right is now doing community organizing, that we're no longer surrendering this to them, that we understand this.
Yeah, interesting. Where exactly at the Capitol will you guys be?
I think it's the Union Square area. We're going to have a map on our website soon of exactly where people need to be. But it's on the west side. It's not it's on the west side. It's basically the west side of the Capitol.
Okay. Are you able to share with me the permit you received from Metropolitan PD?
Honestly, I don't know if we can. I'm sure we can get you what you need at some point, but we're not going to prioritize getting paperwork to reporters. You can show up if you want. I mean, do you really doubt? I mean, we've done 2 of these so far in DC. Do you really think we've made this up? You just have to trust me. We've done the procedures.
And I'm definitely not doubting you, Matt. I'd be curious just to look at it to see what it entails. So I know that I think when I saw the Washington Post, it looked like maybe Kimmy had showed it to the reporter. So anyway.
I'm just not doing paperwork with reporters. Sorry.
Okay, well, I'll email you guys, and if you change your mind, let me know. All right, interesting. Let me ask you one last question, because I know you're on a timeline. Are you dismayed or upset that a lot is being made of your protest in terms of concerns of violence, of concerns of extremists showing up? I mean, does that bother you, that this is sort of being twisted in your view?
It doesn't surprise me at all, and this is the natural course of things. I think it was Gandhi says that first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they attack you, and then you win. We went through the ignoring phase when we held our first protest at the Department of Justice. They kind of made fun of us at the prison. We went to the United Nations to file a complaint with the Human Rights Committee there. And now they're starting to take us seriously. So they're spreading lies about this being violent, about this being Insurrection 2.0. But my question is, really, when was Insurrection 1.0? These are hundreds of people, none of them even charged with violence. And this is solely because of their political beliefs. These are political prisoners, and what happened to Ashley Babbitt must be publicly investigated. A police department does not get to wash its own hands of killing an unarmed citizen without oversight. And that's something that people on the left and the right can all agree on.
Yeah. Last thing.
We're running out of time. I really got to get on my next call.
What's your what do you want here? You want those charges dropped for those people who
Look Ahead America has been leading on this movement. We were the first out of the gates on it in January, asking the Department of Justice and FBI. We sent them a letter demanding they drop all charges against the nonviolent offenders, because that would be the precedence. That's how these people have been treated in the past. Because the reason they're not being treated this way isn't because of what they did, it's because of what they believe. And that is inhuman and unconstitutional and a violation of everything that America stands for.
Got it. Well, listen, Matt, I really appreciate your help. Can I keep in touch with you, like, on the day? I know you're going to be busy, but do you have a cell phone that I can get for you?
I think you have it. I mean, obviously I'll be pretty busy that day, but you're always welcome to reach out. And if you text me your email address, I'll make sure you're on our inside press list, which we have 2 press lists, but you probably want to be on the big one. So I've got your email address. Hey, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for agreeing to do this on an open line. And I'm always okay to talk to on open lines. Okay.
Wait, is this your cell? 4235.
No, let's not say that on an open line. You have it. You have it.
Okay.
All right. I gotta go.
Matt, appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Bye.